Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to Kaizen Time. I'm joined by Ian and Adam with our Kaizen Risk Management. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good. So a lot of people are going to say, what is Kaizen Risk Management? Why should I even care? So let's knock that out of the park right away. What is it?
I mean, first off, Kaizen Risk Management, at its core, we sell insurance for the business, but we're a little bit more. We're part of Kaizen. We're part of the family.
Okay.
You know? So we're more than just the accounting, the payroll, the financial advising. We also can now offer insurance and some consulting around that.
Okay. So you're a new service that we're offering. I guess the most important question then is why and how is it different? How's it better? Where's the real benefit to having this kind of insurance or risk management, as we're calling it?
Yeah. So let's kind of focus a little bit on the risk management part, I think.
Sure.
Because I think most people know the main benefits of having insurance. You know, why it's important that we have this with Kaizen now is we take care of your finances, which is extremely important in your business. But insurance is probably the second most important thing to protect your finances. So it's just kind of a good relationship to have with your accounting team. Now, we kind of focus on risk management rather than just your local insurance broker. Because, your local insurance broker, you can go and I need a policy, they can whip you out a policy. Or you can go online a lot of times and they can whip you out a policy. You know, but that might not be the right policy for you. So when we talk about risk management, we kind of have a little bit different of an approach with our customers. We kind of take a look at your business, which we're able to, understand because you're already kind of a part of Kaizen. If you're coming in as already a client with Kaizen, look at your business, understand what risks there you have potential to, incur. So let's say you're a restaurant, you're going to have a potential different risk that could happen to your business than if you were just a one-person consultant, right? So really taking a look at what could potentially happen to your business and then what we could do to help that specific risk, and you can understand what, the things you can put in place to avoid those things in the future.
And if I could add to that,
Sure.
When a business goes through a change, I feel like the accountants are one of the first people to know about it. And so the insurance should also, the agent should be the first person to know it as well. But a lot of times it's too common to say, with insurance, you set it and forget it. You just have the policy in place and you don't ever look at it again. But the problem with that is if your business changes and you have new needs. And so we need to take into account what kind of risks come with those needs. And, as agents, we want to constantly evaluate that. And we'll be able to more easily evaluate it by being a part of the, accounting firm. So as soon as they're updated, we can be updated as well.
So kind of the thing I'm hearing from you guys, which I didn't actually expect, is it's custom in many ways. And custom is typically better, is my way of thinking of it. If I'm going to customize, let's say, my computer, because I work on my computer all the time, it is going to be better suited to my needs that I use that computer for. So it sounds like what you guys are saying is, hey, we do business insurance policies, right? But we actually know more about your business because you're part of our Kaizen structure, right?
Exactly.
And you're able to better tailor those. So does that mean not only it would mean better coverage, but does that also affect the price too? Are you guys?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so better coverage, definitely,
Okay.
because it's more specific coverage. Kind of like you said, off the shelf is usually never the right move. Think about going on a diet. Most people aren't just going to take a diet off the shelf and find that successful. It has to be very unique to you for it to work for a long time.
Okay.
Same kind of thing with the insurance. So it's customized to where you may have a coverage currently that you don't need, or you may have a coverage that's existing that you should have and you don't have it.
Okay.
And down the line, if you have a claim, you're going to come out of your pocket with all those expenses, right? So you do have control over price to the point of what type of risk do you want to take responsibility for, and then what type of risk do you want to transfer to the insurance company, where if something happens, the insurance company takes responsibility for that and they pay out for it. So you have those choices, and it comes down to your business to what coverages that we discussed that you feel like would make the most sense for you. as a customer.
So what would happen? Let's say I'm a client and I talk to you guys. You guys go over what I currently have. You're like, oh, hey, you're over covered for this. You're under covered for that. What? Kind of give me the run through of what you've been seeing.
Good.
So I feel like we definitely review like what the current policy has.
Sure.
And we take that information. We look at what we could provide them, and we also look at like what's going on with their business in terms of finances. So if we notice, I don't know, they're starting to get more and more information like data. Like if let's say they're increasing the amount of data that they're having, then we will have like maybe a cybersecurity. We'll refer them to have a cybersecurity policy so that.
So let's say they're connecting into more servers or they're expanding, they're having networking. Okay.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's basically how it looks, honestly. Okay. Yeah.
I know cybersecurity has been absolutely massive. It's been brought up on our previous podcasts. It's been a huge concern for 2024. So yeah, I feel like coverage for that
everything's on the cloud
paramount
right now, basically, and so that basically it's great because you don't have a lot of constraints with what you can do, but the problem is a lot of people could potentially have access to that if you're not controlling it the right way.
So this is totally gonna derail what we're talking about, but I definitely have to add it. So I got a notification on my phone last night that there was someone tried to access my Outlook email, not my work one, my personal one that I've had since I was 13 years old, which is a very long time ago. I was 13. Anyway, somebody tried to access it, and the Microsoft Authenticator came up like, hey, is this you? Apparently, they figured out my password. I said no. I went in, changed my email, my password for my email, and then I went into the Authenticator and looked at how many people had been trying to log in. Literally, people have been trying to access my email every hour.
Dang. Wow.
And I'm just like, they're coming from Russia, China, Vietnam, like any country, and within the United States. I'm like, wow, people are trying to access. So cybersecurity is huge, and I have been in an association where it got hacked, and it crippled us for months. So I do completely agree. It is a very, very scary thing. So give me some other examples of like what insurance that you guys see that is really helpful to people that people actually don't think about.
Sure. I mean, it depends for which.
Of course, because
every organization is a little
right?
bit different. Like if you have a bigger organization, pretty much everyone knows they need insurance. So where it really goes into detail is, within an insurance policy, there's coverages, and then that's really where we tailor it to you. So if like let's say you have a small to medium-sized business, and you have a business owner's policy, which covers your liability and it covers different property that you own, and property that maybe you're leasing from other people. Okay. Now those are like the core coverages. However, within that policy, there's like 200 other coverages that you could potentially put on your policy. Most people aren't going to want all 200 coverages because then your policy is going to be extremely expensive. And it's probably the best policy you could ever have, but it's probably not necessary. So it's having things like that are very tailored to your business. So like, for example, do you have a restaurant and you have a lot of inventory that's in a refrigerator? Do you have protection for refrigerated products?
In case the refrigerator goes out, you lose electricity, et cetera.
You have business interruption insurance to a point to where if, let's say, something happens to your building, you're no longer able to operate out of it, are you going to get reimbursed for renting a new place, plus covered for all the expenses it's going to take you to move all of your operations to another location? And how long is that expense going to be paid for? Is it going to be paid for 3 months, or is it going to be paid until the repair has been done? Wow. Right? So we could get into the weeds in this. It can be very complicated, but the point is, like, we will talk to, if you have a business, you come to us, ask you, what do you want protected? Like, what do you own? What is the things you need protected? And then what can we do for you? And we provide options. You make the final decision, of course. We don't want you overprotected because you're going to spend way too much money out of your own pocket. We don't want you underprotected because in the time of a claim, you're going to have to spend money out of your own pocket that you were going to wish that you didn't have to.
So, and I know we've kind of discussed some of the numbers. How likely are people to use an insurance claim?
I mean, statistically, I think the number is in the next 10 years, 40% of you are going to have a claim. Okay. Obviously that's an average, so you may have a claim twice every 5 years, or you may never have a claim in 20 years. It doesn't necessarily mean like everyone's going to have a claim, but it's very likely that you're going to have a claim within probably 10 to 15 years.
So one thing I just want to add to this is that with business, and one thing I've really learned while hosting these podcasts is your business, you want it to be kind of in a smooth line. It's not good to have, you know, really big highs and really low lows.
Right.
So when like COVID happened, we hit rock bottom for a lot of businesses and they can't adjust. So having insurance kind of smooths out that, right? Oh, I don't have this huge cost that is really going to hurt us. We can't, you know, hire people when we need to, et cetera. Right. So it's one of those things that keeps you on that kind of level playing field. Does that seem about right?
Yeah, that's a really, really good way to put it.
Yeah, it makes it so that there's not a huge setback, because that's like the worst thing that can happen, right? Where after, for example, the whole claim thing, you know, after 10 years of building a business, all of a sudden you have a claim, and then it feels like you have to take a couple steps back. Like that's like the worst feeling in the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure, like, just like providing like proper coverage, you know, when taking those things into account, like, you know, those kinds of risks that a business will have.
Well, perfect.
That being said, I'd like to add to it and say there are risks that some businesses are okay with taking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, let's say you don't want to pay an insane amount for insurance. You're okay not covering specific risks, and the understanding that if that were to happen, you would just cover that out of your own pocket. And that is totally okay with us too.
Yes.
And we're not here to just sell everyone as much coverage as we possibly can. Right? We understand that insurance kind of stinks sometimes. It's kind of a frustrating thing to pay for, because a lot of times you're not going to actually realize you need it until you use it. But a lot of people just don't use it for several years. So it's just kind of the thing that they pay every month, and it's kind of frustrating.
So I think of insurance kind of like the tow truck. You're like, you know, I don't like paying for it, but I'm glad it was there when I need it, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
when you need it, and you're glad it's there to help you. Well, that's perfect, guys. As we wrap up, is there anything else that you guys want to add?
Last thing I want to mention is that, you know, again, we don't want to like scare people at all in terms of trying to get like insurance. We want to make sure that they're informed. Like as Adam had just said, we want to make sure that you understand what kind of risk you're willing to take, like what risk you want the insurance to back you up on, or what you're willing to be like, okay, if this happens, like I'll be fine, you know. So we want to inform our clients is the biggest thing.
If they wanted to reach out to you guys, what is the best way? You guys have like your own website, don't you?
Yeah, KaizenRiskManagement.com.
That's a mouthful.
I know. It's well, my email is as well. I have to spell it out pretty much every single time for people.
So going to KaizenRiskManagement.com is the best way, and they can access it from the Kaizen website.
They can schedule a call
too.
with us, and then, you know, our phone number's on there. If they just want to call us directly, we definitely would be happy to talk. Or if they just want to email us, you know, anyway, or they just want to call into Kaizen here, they can transfer us. No problem.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.